Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna, and for those of you who are new here, welcome. And for those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's Mundane Monday, we just want to do a quick check-in, and if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay, so it's Monday, and based on last week's comments and feedback, you guys also have very mundane days as well. And so we're just going to call this Mundane Mondays, a kind of talk story before I get a little sidetracked. How are you guys doing? How has your day been? How was your weekend? How have you been feeling? I'd love to know in the comments below. Here on Mundane Mondays, we're just checking in with one another. We are building quite a bit of a community here on my channel. And so not only am I checking in with you guys, and you guys are checking in with me, but I love that you guys check in with each other. Now, last week was a bit of a roller coaster week for me personally. I felt like my emotions were all over the place this weekend. I did a lot of rest, a little bit of reflection, and just did activities that made me feel good by way of journaling or writing or crafting or napping. But it was just really low key. So I hope you guys had a good weekend as well. But what I wanted to do a little bit differently today is less of a talk story and more of an activity that I'm hoping that you guys will be into. Now, please know that this may not work for you, and I've had it where it's worked really well and it's worked not at all. And when I get a little bit into it, I'll talk a little bit more about that. But this is an activity that you'll need to be in a safe space. And what I mean by that is you can't be driving a car because you're going to need to close your eyes. So if you are driving and you're listening to me, you can just listen, just don't do the activity until maybe you get home. I mean, this is a video. You can watch it whenever you want to. But if you are at home or in a safe space, get to where you're sitting in a chair where you're a little bit elevated so that you can put your feet on the floor, and sit upright but not too tense. You know, you want to be relaxed, but you want to have your diaphragm as straight as possible, and then just keep your arms pretty relaxed to the side of you. And what we're going to be doing is just some breathing exercises together. It's really the only kind of exercise that I do. But before we do it, I just want to say, so this is something that I kind of learned last year when my department was doing some shooter training. So if there was a shooter on campus, what you would do. And at the end of that, the trainer went through some breathing exercises with us because, I mean, it was a very tense feeling situation. I mean, there was nothing going on. It's just the thought of, right? And I can only imagine how little kids feel because I believe they go through that in school. And so it really worked, and it's something that I've used. But then a few weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, we were in a Zoom meeting about budgets and budget cuts and whatnot, and another person tried to do some breathing exercises as well. But that person had started off the conversation with, well, you know, the pandemic isn't a good thing, but we really need to stay positive. And it could be that, you know, pay cuts and furloughs and possible RIFs, which is job loss, could be positive, where we really just focus on people who we need, or it was sort of that vein. And then the person went into some breathing exercises, and I just wasn't having it. You can't talk about job loss and pay cuts and how it's a good thing. And I get it. They were trying to make it sound positive, but all it did, it made me feel, and quite a few people that were texting with each other at the time, was, oh, you mean nothing. Let's just breathe through that. So just be aware that breathing exercises don't always work. But for me, how they work is, if I can feel myself getting anxious, or if I've gotten to overload mode and I've had a good cry, and that's part of it. Then when I'm just feeling all some kind of way, then I do some deep breathing. Or when I'm having difficulty falling asleep, and that sometimes is a thing more frequently than it used to be, I do this, and it doesn't make me fall asleep, but it does calm my mind. And so that's really what the focus of this is going to be. All right, now I promise there won't be any kind of jump scare. This really is just to be calming and relaxing. Okay, all right, so now that you're in your chair, feet on the floor, and it doesn't have to be a chair, you can be on a bench, you can be in the bathroom, you can be on your bed, whatever. Just somewhere where you can sit and you can have your feet on the floor and arms just resting next to you, whether in your lap, armrest, whatever. And what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to just think of the grief or the stress or the feeling of being overwhelmed, or the anxiety or the worry or whatever it is just weighing on your shoulders. I want you to think about that. Not anything specific. You don't have to think about a specific person or project or anything. Just think of it as a group thing. Just categorize it as stress or grief or whatever. And I want you to see it as a dark cloud. And I want you to keep that in your mind and kind of move that down into your chest. And I promise it'll be okay. All right, still eyes closed. I want you to take in a really deep breath. Okay, really deep. And then hold it. And just keep holding it. Just hold it for a little longer. 1, 2, 3. And then just let it out. And as you're letting out your breath, I also want you to just let out that dark gray cloud of grief or stress or worry or whatever it is you're dealing with. Okay? We're going to do it again. And I want you to bring in even a bigger breath than before. Now your lungs are like, okay, I got this. I got this. So eyes closed. And you're still going to have some residual worry and stress and feeling overwhelmed. That's okay. It's normal. I want you to have that dark gray cloud moved into your chest area. And inhale really deeply. And hold it. And hold it for a little bit more. And 1, 2, 3. And exhale, and the residual of that little dark gray cloud of whatever has just dissipated. Okay, now we're going to do our final breath, and this one is a really big one. Pretend that you're Moana and you're diving into the water because you've just thrown away the heart of Nefiti or Tafiti, and you need to go and get it. So that's a pretty big dive. Okay, so deep breath in. And hold it. Just dived in the water. It's cool and it's refreshing and it's clear, and you can see that little green stone, and you're diving for it, you're diving for it, you're diving for it, you've got it. Now you're going to make your way back up to the surface. Keep holding. Keep holding. And you're right there. You're right there at the surface where you can just let out a big woosa of air. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Open your eyes. Okay. Now, it may seem a little weird, and I sometimes think so, but what that's going to do, hopefully, is just sort of calm you, just sort of center you. And it's going to only be for a moment. That's not something that might last for more than 20 minutes, half an hour, an hour. Now, luckily, it's something that's portable. All you need is you. Now, this is not a self-help kind of thing. Sometimes those things irritate me. But what this is especially if you are here because you are a planner or a journaler, or you're here because of planning, we have gotten into a mind frame where we can organize our chaos through our planning. Well, 2020 has shown us that, oh no, there's still some things you can't really expect and are completely uncertain. So What you can do when you're in the right mind frame for it is just give yourself some tools to just quiet down. Now, will that make the grief and the stress and the feeling overwhelmed and the work and the anxiousness and the worry and all of that go away? No, it's still there. It's still going to be there, but you might be in a better frame of mind to deal with it or just cope. I think dealing with it some days are just a little bit too much to expect. I hope this has been helpful. I'd like to do something like this every Mundane Mondays. Like I said, I don't actually have a lot to talk about, so I thought that might be a way for us to just kind of commune together in a friendly and safe space. I hope you guys have a good day. Good is relative. If you're dealing with chronic stress or lots of stress or chronic health issues, sometimes a good day is just a day with less pain than you had yesterday. If you're not having a good day, I hope your day does get better. That's what I hope for all of you. And for me, from Hawaii, as always, aloha.